At exactly 7:10 local time, a Ukrainian drone bursts out of a concealed launch vehicle and immediately surges forward toward a Russian airbase. The launch rail drops away behind it, and an electric motor, no bigger than a coffee tin, spins to life. Within seconds, the drone dives down to treetop level, skimming just above the ground. 4 seconds later, another operator launches, then another, then another. What's unfolding is now the most asymmetric Ukrainian drone operation since the war began. And Russia is about to learn firsthand that massive defense budgets do not guarantee security. Within 90 seconds, 8 drones are already in the air, roughly 300 meters northwest. 2 additional launch teams repeat the exact same process. Now 17 drones are racing forward, their optical sensors scanning just above the treetops. They weave between Russian early warning radar systems, following routes carefully designed to exploit the curvature of the Earth itself. Their flight time to the heavily defended airbase deep inside Russian territory, 40 minutes. Nobody at that base has any idea what's coming. Inside an S-400 command vehicle, a Russian radar operator is likely sitting calmly, sipping tea, staring at a blank screen. He has about 39 minutes of peace left. These drones are slow, deliberately slow. At just 110 miles per hour across open terrain, they remain exposed for 40 full minutes, meaning a single long-range radar detection could compromise the entire decentralized strike. Everything now depends on how the swarm approaches. Already inside the radar horizon, a wave of human-controlled drones is executing something no centralized system has ever successfully handled. At a Pantsir-S1 battery, a Russian air defense operator suddenly sees a cluster of slow-moving contacts appear on his screen. They're creeping inward at barely 80 knots from multiple directions. He cannot distinguish which drones carry thermobaric warheads aimed at his radar and which ones are simple decoys. So he does the only thing his training allows. He fires. An interceptor missile launches off the rail worth over $1 million. It streaks forward at 3 times the speed of sound and obliterates a drone no bigger than a lawnmower. But that wasn't a sophisticated threat. That was a low-cost FPV drone, part of a distributed human-operated attack network. Each of these drones, assembled in Ukrainian workshops using commercial parts and 3D printed components, cost between $5,000 and $15,000. And right now, they are the most dangerous aircraft over that Russian base. The operator fires again. Another $1 million gone. And again, this is industrial-scale, cost-exchange warfare. Every missile used to destroy something cheaper than a used car is one less interceptor available when the rest of the swarm arrives. And they are only minutes away. Worse still, every time that battery fires, it creates delays, lock-on time, reload cycles, turning the defense into a geometric nightmare as additional drones close in from multiple vectors. The system is being overwhelmed. The operator is burning through ammunition while simultaneously exhausting processing capacity. But what Russian commanders think of victories are actually setting them up for failure, because in just 2 minutes, they will need every interceptor they've already wasted. The next wave isn't a decoy. For the last 40 minutes, the remaining drones have been splitting into flanking paths, hugging terrain, hiding behind Earth's curvature, and flying completely silent. Decentralized human operators are coordinating every movement through encrypted communication without relying on any central AI system. Each drone carries a thermobaric payload mounted beneath its frame. At 8:05 local time, the swarm reaches terminal approach altitude directly over the base. Inside a remote bunker, the lead drone pilot has been watching his live feed for nearly an hour. Flight paths have already been adjusted multiple times using encrypted updates from spotter drones overhead. He confirms the final target, then pushes the throttle. The swarm converges from every direction. The defense systems suddenly light up, alarms firing as multiple threats appear simultaneously below the radar horizon. Electric motors scream. The drones break through the perimeter in seconds. On Russian tracking screens, a multi-vector attack pattern rapidly expands, targets closing in on bunkers, radars, and infrastructure. 17 drones now accelerate into their final phase. At this altitude, interception is nearly impossible. Traditional missiles require altitude. These drones need only feet. That difference changes everything. At high altitude, radar systems have time to detect, process, and respond. At tree level, they only have time to watch the impact on security cameras. Spent interceptor missiles lie scattered across nearby fields. Within hours, OSINT analysts will photograph them. But right now, 17 warheads are seconds away from impact. 10 seconds from the flight line. Air defense systems are nearly empty. At 8:10, everything hits at once. The flanking drones strike first. Thermobaric warheads detonate with almost zero reaction time. The primary S-400 radar installation is hit repeatedly. Moments later, satellite imagery will capture the aftermath. Multi-million-dollar radar systems reduced to twisted metal, smoke rising into the morning sky. Seconds later, drones sweep across the flight line. Now, the decentralized human pilot network shows its true advantage. There is no central algorithm, no rigid command structure, just real-time coordination, human instinct, live video, and shared data. One pilot targets a command bunker. He anticipates every remaining defensive gun, every friendly drone's path, every obstacle ahead. The drone dives. It slips through a ventilation shaft and detonates deep inside, where critical command systems are housed. Across the base, the pattern repeats. Fuel depots, radar arrays, aircraft shelters. These are not random strikes. They are surgical. Each target is chosen because it cannot be quickly repaired or replaced. The swarm is dismantling the base's entire operational nervous system. Meanwhile, Pantsir cannons continue firing blindly. Their ammunition is running out, and their vulnerability is increasing. From the perimeter, unseen drones begin targeting the defenses themselves. 700 meters south, the final wave reaches the tarmac. At 8:12, the primary fuel depot is hit. The tank collapses inward. Fuel ignites. A massive column of black smoke erupts into the sky. 4 seconds later, another drone dives in from the north. Its target, a reinforced revetment housing Su-35 fighter jets, $50 million aircraft designed for air superiority, not for threats they cannot see. The pilot confirms visual lock, pushes forward, the drone dives. 3 seconds. Impact. It detonates inside the structure. The thermobaric blast has nowhere to escape. The jet collapses inward. No one is taking off today. Below, the runway is silent. Burning. Russia's promise of air dominance is collapsing in real time. Meanwhile, a Pantsir system desperately switches to manual targeting. Cannons roar, thousands of rounds fired in seconds, but the drones move unpredictably. The math cannot be solved. The guns fire into empty air. The fuel is already burning. But one critical target remains, the ammunition bunkers. If those survive, the base can still support operations. That cannot be allowed. A drone slams into the bunker entrance. Seconds later, another follows, detonating inside. The stockpile is neutralized. Another drone eliminates a secondary Pantsir system. The defense grid collapses further. Russian fighters scramble too late. Above the base, Su-35 jets arrive. They cannot see the drones, radar signatures too small. At high speed, their weapons are useless. They are not here to fight, they are here to witness. Below them, the base is in ruins. 17 coordinated strikes, every critical system hit. And still, the operation continues. Because from the very beginning, this was never about brute force. It was about exploiting physics, radar horizons, Earth's curvature, human coordination. A $10,000 drone has just destroyed systems worth hundreds of millions. And in doing so, it has rewritten the rules of modern warfare.